Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Deep Space Nine Reactions. I am Fred. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. For those who are new here, let me explain the format. I am going through every episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's a rewatch for me. It's my favorite Star Trek series, so I will, over the course of this video, I will be making references to things that happened in prior episodes, as well as things that would eventually happen in the series. You do not see the episode in question because of DMCA purposes, so we blur it out, as indicated here. Now, audio, you might pick up some ambient audio depending on how loud the sound effects or dialogue is. My mic is actually that powerful in terms of its gain. Even at 30% gain, it can still sometimes pick up stuff that's behind it where the speakers are. It says, why don't I just use headsets or Bluetooth earbuds or things of that nature? Because I wear a headset for just about everything else I do, from streaming to actual work, and I'm not a fan of wireless earbuds. Air sound quality on those wireless things are just garbage. Anyway, uh, on top of everything else, I do run my mouth for the better part of the next 45 to 50 some odd minutes talking about the episode in question. So it's is what it is there. So, episode that we're up to today um is iconic for one reason and not so much for its B plot, not so much for its A plot. It's Heart of Stone. We all, as a Star Trek fans, particularly DS9 fans, know this episode. It's the one where Nog goes to Cisco and tells him outright why he wants to join Starfleet. It relates to Rom, and we'll be talking about that. But that's what this episode is primarily known for. That's the B plot. The A plot is, well, basically just the founder, the head founder lady, trying to trick Odo into coming back to the Great Link. It's by pretending to be Kira for the entire episode. Now, this episode is also kind of notorious in another way here, and I will address it now. If you've ever read, and I do encourage it, like Nana Visitor's book that she did regarding the women of Star Trek, she discusses in detail a particular event that happened uh, prior to the filming of the current block of episodes. The stuff for the episodes that started airing, like mid, or like just like early January into February, 1995. There was an incident that occurred with her that was very, very traumatic. And how can I put this? It when you know that in context of what she actually went through, and into the context of these episodes, is like you start going, wow, that it certainly, because there was a change in how she portrayed Kira going forward over the course of the rest of the series. Like pre January 1995 Kira versus post January 1995 Kira in terms of episode broadcast air dates. There is a major difference between the two, in my opinion. Anyway, with that said, as I'm trying to be subtle and kind and not being too evasive and talking about something, as a cis white male, have no business talking about in that regard. Hence, why I'm being rather abstract. But I'm just saying, if you read Nana Visitor's book about the women of Star Trek, and I know I have it, and I forget the name of the title of it, and I feel like a jackass. You will know exactly what I'm referring to. Anyway, let's get into the episode in question. First officer's log start at 48521.5. It was a Tuesday. Like, we're at Prophet's Landing, a Bajoran colony closest to the Cardassian border. And I like the fact that it says closest to the Cardassian border, not in the DMZ. Gee, it's like if Federation citizens thought it was a good idea to stay in the demilitarized zone versus, not being in the DMZ. But the Bajorans says that they set up their colonies near the border, which actually raises a question. Here's a question. What happens to the Bajoran colonies that are actually near the Cardassian border, like Prophet's Landing, for example, when the Dominion War starts? But Odo was a bit grumpy. Odo's trying to make it's like they're bickering. And Odo was trying to avoid talking about it. The governor of Vesta invited them to the dinner at his house. Kira said no. And she never bothered to ask if Odo wanted to go. He wanted to go to the government house? No, he did not. So what the problem is? The problem was that Odo was not consulted about it. Odo does not eat, but he does. And Odo hates socializing. But that is besides the point. There is a factor there that he would like to have been consulted on the matter. Odo wants to be said. He wants to be said no. It's a hilarious conversation. It's a lot of perfect back and forth timing on that. But it is a cute conversation, nonetheless. And they detected a Marquis interceptor. There's a one-man crew, a lightly armed one-man ship. But it said the Lesepians were attacked by one-man ships. And they're going to go after this one-man vessel. Not finding it odd that a one-man vessel is all by its lonesome. Anyway, as the opening credits begin, as the rock goes flying through space, let's get some self-promotion stuff here out of the way. Number one, obviously, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you could always be up to date on when these episodes, if you're just here for this, you will be notified when they are posted. Of course, obviously, I am live over on Twitch 7 nights a week, 5 p.m. start time on Saturdays and Sundays, 9:30 p.m. start time Mondays through Fridays. Games that we are currently featuring are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Resident Evil 5, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Although we should be wrapping up both Resident Evil 5 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the nearest future. And I said that last week, but couldn't get the online functionality for RE5 to work. So yes, there is that particular conundrum. Also, you may notice here why it is not lit on this side. I just didn't feel like turning on the ceiling light. That's normally the one light that is on. I just turned the light off over on that side, and it's like, okay, cool. Like half of it's dark down here. Any other self promotion? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. If you would like to be so kind and help kick a few bucks this way, help keep the lights on, help with general repairs and so forth, there is a PayPal donation link in the description below. I actually just had to pay $350 on Friday to take care of some trees and bushes and such. Back to the episode. Heart of Stone as the runabout goes zooming to the left. But it's saying that the Marquis vessel is modified and it's super quick. But here's the big question here. I know about this episode. I know the twist of this episode as it relates to the founder, who's like knocks out Kira, sticks her in a stasis pod, and pretends to be her for the majority of the episode. Exactly how did said founder get from the Gamma Quadrant into the Alpha Quadrant? And my theory is this: you know that Tullaberry wine contract? Yeah, that's basically how the like folks shipping back and forth. They're gonna land on the moon. There's something in the moon's atmosphere that's jamming the sensors. How good are the sensors if something can always jam them? It's like, and if there's only one man who would dare give him the raspberry. You realize how short Nog is with the shot of O'Brien looming over her console. And Nog says that wants to meet urgently with Cisco. And very rare. It's Nog's first appearance up in Ops. And for Nog to actually come up to this area, because you never seen Nog up in Ops before. You've seen Jake come through, and it's like the handshake. Now, what's this all about, Nog? He wants to give Cisco this. What is it? Open it! Open it! It is Latinum. Well, of course you know what it is, Cisco. But why are you giving it to him, Nog? Explain yourself. He Nog essentially is now an adult. He is 18. I think he was 18 already, but still. But by Varangi bylaws, when a Ferengi enters adulthood, they have to purchase an apprenticeship from a suitable role model, and Nog picks Cisco. Cisco looks genuinely shocked. Nog said he wants to be the first Ferengi in Starfleet. Now, who does he see about getting a uniform? But there's a lot of things. To become a Starfleet officer in particular, you have to attend the academy. So where does he sign up? It's not that simple about him signing up. As a non-Federation citizen, Nog needs a letter of referral from a command level officer before he can take the entrance exam. And Cisco is a command level officer. And Nog is here to bribe Cisco. Then it's like he'll write the letter, but Cisco's he's gonna think about it. It's like just sliding the letting them back and forth. And just exchange, shake the hands and such. Like, aren't you forgetting something? Keep the latinum. It's a bribe as a token of the appreciation. Cisco is just baffled and befuddled by the entire circumstance. We can't blame him. Meanwhile, on the moon, tricorders are useless. The atmospheric ionization is jamming their sensors. Like, again, you would think that with all dealing with all sorts of ionized atmospheres and whatnot, that the Federation would develop the technology to be able to scan through such interference. But no, that's the one thing that when you think about it, that the Federation basically does enter a long period of stagnation. It's like when you don't go really going from what from the end of the Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country up to like the start of the Dominion War, the Federation is kind of like really stagnate tech wise. And as soon as they split up, Kira gets into trouble. It's amazing how many different angles you can get from a set by shooting it from different perspectives, shifting the walls around. And Kira, or not Kira, has her foot stuck in a rock. How is it stuck? She stepped in a fissure or something, and she can't get it loose. And that this. Well, truth be told, here I am actually looking at this, even though I have a 16:9 monitor. I am looking at this at what would have been like the equivalent of like a 16-inch television, like 4x3. is how I have that set up. So I'm actually looking at the old retro perspective of how I would have watched this, like 31 years ago. She can't get her boot off. Or of course you can't get your boot off, Kira, or not Kira. You're a shapeshifter. You're a changeling. This is like, in all those first instincts, hit it with a rock. Now, you, but here's the other thing here. With Kira's thing stuck in there, do you know what the obvious solution is? Cut cut it off at the ankle. You can cauterize it. Like it like, yeah, shoot off the foot. That's like, yes. But like, oh no, should be like amputation. Break out the chainsaw. Unintentionally here with not Kira shooting the phaser down at the crystalline thing that her foot is in, it does reveal one thing, that a phaser will kind of have no effect on a changeling at a certain setting. As as a matter of fact, you don't really see a phaser being effective at all on a changeling or shapeshifter throughout the course of Deep Space Nine as a series. And in Star Trek Online, when you have to occasionally fight a shapeshifter boss, Lost being one of them, a shapeshifter who appeared in like season 7 of DS9, as there was a few other changelings that may have popped up from time to time. They are arguably tougher than fighting some of the Borg, because they have like multiple, that there is like multiple forms and stages to fighting a changeling in that game. Meanwhile, back at the good part of the story, we see Nog and Rom looking to fix a replicator. Quark is wanting to get it fixed yet. What's taking so long? As they're working as fast as they can. The replicator, their entire power supply was shorted out. Yeah, he said, Quark said it might overload the system if you don't maintain the system on give them like shut them down for op maintenance once a week. So, but here's the question: is though, Quarks is not a 24-hour operating bar. But why isn't the replicators being maintained or powered down for maintenance after the bar is closed? Unless Quarks is open, so open from whatever when they open in the AM to late to whenever they close. There's just like everyone is so exhausted that there is no time and willingness to work on the maintenance. Like, have to come back in an hour. The replicators are down. And like Jake runs in and says like a joke. Said Nog put a joke on Cisco's dad. Nog wasn't joking. It's like Jake is saying, "You don't expect him to fall for a joke." Did Jake tell Cisco that he would tell Nog is pissed because Jake telling his Cisco that Nog was joking is like Nog is livid and he is dead serious. He has his reasons, which will become apparent later in the episode. Why should he give Jake a? Why should Nog tell him a reason? It's not a secret. He doesn't feel like talking about the reason, although the reason might be obvious. It's a very personal reason, and you can't blame Nog. There are some things that he doesn't want to talk to Jake about. There is nothing to figure out. There is no trick. Nog wants to join Starfleet one way or another. The thing is, though, Nog could enlist as a non-com, as a non-officer, because O'Brien is a non-commissioned officer. Like he's like a senior chief petty officer, or like or something, or the equivalent thereof. Meanwhile, back on the moon, It is interesting to see that, like back in season one, Odo could not operate anything about a runabout's controls and had to rely on automatic piloting system. And now he's interacting with the controls. He's talking with the computer. It's a polarized ionization field. Well, you got to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. That's all. Send out a priority 1 distress signal to Deep Space Nine. Why am I unable to comply? Community systems are inoperable. Oh, atmospheric interference. In that case, launch a communications probe and instruct it to begin yeah, launch a probe. Like it's working. The probe has been launched. Given ideal conditions, how soon can they expect help from DS9? Did they receive the probe distress signal? In 2 days. Communication is quite slow in the 24th century, it seems. Meanwhile, Odo has returned back to not Kira, and there's phaser fire. Someone came out that tunnel. And Odo's looking at the wall. It's like, yeah, it's like considering where Kira is standing and where those phaser blasts on that wall is, there's no way a phaser shot at her would have missed. And you can tell the way Odo looked at it, he suspects something is wrong. And meanwhile, back on the station, on the good plot of this story, Cisco and Julian is discussing the things. Oh, this ensign is undergoing he's pregnant with twins. He's budding. You don't see this alien species, but hey, it's good to know that there are other alien species on the station who are enlisted or in Starfleet. O'Brien's building this budding apparent hatchling, and Garrick's working on some baby clothes. Meanwhile, Noxie Cisco, have you made up your mind yet? And this is all taking place in the same day. He's like, Cisco has not made up his mind up. What do you mean, not exactly? He has to be Cisco has to be honest. Candidates of Starfleet, Nog is not the first name that comes to mind because he's a Ferengi. Not at all. Fact is, his reputation on the station leaves a lot to be desired. His school grades are mediocre at best. He has more than a few run-ins with Odo. So Nog has made some mistakes. He's admitted, but he can do better. He wants a chance. And it's like he got the handshake thing down. It's like, yeah, it's like, thanks. Cisco needs a complete inventory of Cargo Bay 12, and he wants it done again, even though it was done a week ago. He already has someone in mind for the job. He wants Nog to do it. Yes, and Dax is looking sharp. Nog? Nog? Yes, Nog wants to join Starfleet. Well, Dax thought it'd be interesting to have a Ferengi Starfleet, but Nog? It seems unlikely, very unlikely. Although these in the TNG episode Future Imperfect, you do see a Ferengi at the con there. Assign a couple of crew members to help Nog? No. Cisco wants them to do it alone. No help, no interference, no one overlooking his shoulder. Meanwhile, back on the moon, Odo's trying to analyze the material but can't. And it's up to Kira's hips, or just below the hips. I can't imagine this would have been a very appealing for not a visitor to be holding still with whatever they were using to Granted, it was computer generated at the time, and again, the effect has not aged well. How long does Kira have? Long enough. At the rate that Kiristo's growing, long enough. It's gonna be covered in less than 12 hours. It's a hell of a day. But then, but remember that the Bajor operates on a 26-hour day. Odo will find a solution, or he'll realize the freaking obvious. This is not Kira, because Kira is not acting right even under these circumstances. But does Kira ever look at the security reports? She glances at them. They're fascinating reading. Odo likes crime stories. There was a theft on Remo 6. There seems to be the natives to spin some kind of crystalline webbing that they use to construct their buildings. Some Nausicaan raiders broke into the Century Museum and using a ultra high frequency ultrasonic generator to create a sympathetic webbing inside it to shatter it. So you need some Nausicaan raiders to deal with this. Odo might be able to to create a makeshift generator, although when and where has Odo shown any type of technical know-how to that degree is beyond me. I don't think Odo's never shown any knack for technology, so who knows? Actually, he learned how to to pilot or operate some of the systems on the runabouts. When they get back to the stations, not Kira, is going to be reading those security reports. Again, this is not Kira that Odo's been interacting with, because again, it is the Changeling. Meanwhile, back on the station, that due to a computer error, they lost the entire manifest for this cargo bay, and Commander Sisko wants Nog to re-inventory the entire cargo bay by himself. Starfleet is not just about this diplomacy, exploration, and it's a lot of the time it's just hard work. When does Sisko want it done? He would like to manifest on his desk first thing in the morning. And Nog says he'll have it tonight before he goes off duty. Tomorrow will be fine. But it's like, if you don't mind Dax, he likes to get started. Give me the pad. Get the fuck out. Because there's nobody who knows more about inventory than a Ferengi. You can already tell the way he was looking at us, like, yeah, I can do this. Because Nog has been inventorying Quark's stock rooms for who knows how many years up to this point. And Odo's trying to set things up, so he's like, there's no way he can speed things up. Seriously, the crystal effect on Kira is not all that good, because you can tell it's not really on her. There is a distinct separation from it. Odo was going kayaking with O'Brien. That helped pass the time. That the chief and Odo was supposed to go kayaking, running down the rapids. Yeah, how did O'Brien talk Odo into it? It's like he didn't talk him into it. Odo finds it enjoyable. He's done it twice. He invited him. O'Brien invited him one evening. Odo has no plans, and he accepted. O'Brien does the singing. Of course, he does. If you see in the episode of Wounded, he does. He sings at the end of. What type of songs does O'Brien sing? She chanties. His favorite one is one called Louie Louie. Again, this is a type of world building with the sauce there, with Odo going kayaking with O'Brien. You hear about it. It's something that happens clearly off screen, but it's it's canon to the lore here, and it's a shame you don't really see that type of world building on Star Trek Voyager. Other than like the running gag of maybe the Delaney sisters and how Harry Kim keeps going after the wrong one. Kayaking is extremely difficult. And O'Brien has dislocated his shoulder half a dozen times doing it. Why does O'Brien keep doing it? Because he loves it. It's like in humanoids, I have a hard time giving up the things you love. And that line in itself there with Odo is like a major inclination there that yeah, he has feelings for Kira. Like he can't give up on Kira because there's so much there. And Odo is using his shape-shifting powers to shield Kira. Oddly enough, the dome of Odo being like a projective barrier or dome shaped thing looked better than the damn crystalline thing that is enveloping Kira. It's amazing how certain special effects can look good and not look good. It's like they've been in worse situation than this one. Name three, Odo. Odo's like, it's not that. It's just that wasn't the response that he expected from Kira. Like, what does he mean? In the detective novels O'Brien gives Odo to read, he says the hero says, we've been into to get tougher situations than this one. His friends always agree. It's like she never read any of those books. Obviously, in this case, just Kira would not have either, but not Kira certainly would not. But you can tell throughout the course of this episode that obviously me saying it's not Kira is that there are little things that are off about how Kira acts, how she responds, and Odo being determined to get her out of there. It's no platitude. And Cisco is impressed with Nog's work. It's incredible. Nog inventoried the entire cargo bay in under 5 hours. He did not have any help. No one else entered the cargo bay after, and he was there the entire time. Yeah, he learned something from him working in the Quark storeroom. No kidding. I assume that all of the equipment was where it's supposed to be. Did Nog steal anything? No, the answer is no. He even found things that Dave missed. So Nog is a hard worker. The question remains, why does he want to join Starfleet? You're gonna have to shake it out of him. And back on the moon, the crystal is up around Kira's neck. And Odo has tried everything and nothing has had any effect on it. The crystal is mutating to keep up from finding the right frequency. Kind of funny that only one of Kira's hands is still reachable. I wish there was something more that she could do. Keep talking, tell her a story as the moon keeps shaking. Like, tell her a story, Odo. How did Odo get his name? There is a funny reason for that. It's amusing depending on your point of view. Well, when Dr. Mora brought him into the lab, it was under Cardassian supervision. All specimens had to be clearly labeled in Cardassian. So the overseers will always know what the scientists were working on. Like they don't want any tampering, no funny business. So no one knew what Odo was, and he labeled him an unknown sample. But the overseer translated to Odo Ital. His name is Odo Sample. No, Odo Ital literally means the word nothing. It's like so the name Odo becomes more ironic when you think about it. So Odo is the first name. So Odo technically will be the last name, and Ital will be his first name. When you think about it from that perspective. Now, for the longest time, whenever someone would use Odo's name, the first thing he would think of was what it meant. It meant nothing. Like Odo had no family, no friends, no place where he belonged, and it was the most appropriate name. But then he met Kira. Then the others, Cisco, Dax, even Quark, not necessarily in that order. And now he has friends, he has Odos, and when they call him Odo, he doesn't think of himself as nothing. He thinks himself as just being him. So it's a touching story there. There's a lot there where it wasn't so the story was not so much amusing, but it was touching with how much it meant. Is the ultrasonic generator going to work? No, it's not. You shape shifting. Kira doesn't suppose. Not Kira does. Does Odo have any other ideas? I don't think he does. But she hasn't had an idea this entire time since the phaser. It's like it doesn't make any sense. Odo realizing something does not make sense. Something's not right. He knows something's not right. Like telling him that he's done his best. It's time for him to go. Go? That the place is going to collapse any minute? That the Marquis is probably dead? There's nothing that he could do. If you're asking him to leave, he's not going to do it. You're telling him to get to the runabout and get the hell out of here. But, you know what's also nuts though, considering how that crystal is supposed to be up around her chest and compressing on her chest, it basically would have been cutting off her oxygen at this point in time. Why are you still standing there, Odo? Odo's not leaving. Well, you can give him orders all you want. He's resigning his commission. If he'll stay, he'll die. No, he won't. And if it were true, he was not going to abandon her because Odo's not that type of dude. Here, a real Kira would know that. Does she understand? No, he can't understand. Again, just everything that she's saying, there's such a contradiction there. He won't leave her because he loves. Why? Because he loves her. Say it, Odo. Funny enough, real Kira will not learn this revelation until until a couple of seasons later. So it's out in the open. Now Kira knows that he can't leave her. And Kira's saying, "I'm in love with you too," and it's like, and Odo's looking at it as like, "Wait a minute, Kira would not say that." Meanwhile, back on the station, you wanted to see him, Commander, and Cisco's not happy. Nog, I've given your request a lot of thought. Yeah, he appreciates it. He's gonna have to turn him down. Turn him down? Why? Did he do something wrong? It's not anything Nog did. He's not Academy material. Here's your latinum. Hey, can they talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. They don't know they will never make it through the academy. He couldn't handle the workload or the discipline. That Nog going to last 2 weeks. It's not true. Nog is a hard worker. He's proven that. And Cisco's not going to put his reputation on the line just to satisfy some whim of his. And it's not a whim. Nog is serious about joining Starfleet. But Cisco does not have to. He needs to know exactly what's going on. It's not a joke or a scheme. He did not want to join Starfleet. He wants it more than anything in his he wanted in his entire life. You're a Ferengi. Why would you want to be in Starfleet? Where's the profit in it? I don't care about profit. Then what do you care about? Come on now, not tell me. Why it's so damn important you get into Starfleet? Because I don't want to end up like my father. And also the way Cisco or Avery Brooks grabbed Aaron Eisenberger and shook him. You saw Aaron Eisenberger get cinched up like, am I about to be attacked here? It's like, it's such great acting there. And Brooks wasn't supposed to grab him either, so. But the reason is like Rom chased profit his entire life. Words got him nothing. He doesn't have the lobes for business, and neither does Nog. And you go back to an episode where the No J Consortium, like it was mainly Jake the one driving the decision making there for them to make a profit, not Nog. Like Rom is a mechanical genius. Rom could have been the chief engineer on the starship if he had the opportunity. But no, he went into business like a good Ferengi. Now all Rom has to live for is maybe someday inheriting Quark's bar. So Nog sees that and it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to go down that road. And sees Starfleet as an alternate path where he can make a path for himself, like being the first Ferengi in Starfleet, even just making the rank of lieutenant or commander. Because we know Nog ends up becoming a captain and being a major factor in in the Starfleet Corps of Engineers. So we know Nog long term ends up making a huge impact as a Ferengi in Starfleet. One could argue that Nog made more of an impact as a Ferengi, being the first Ferengi in Starfleet, than Worf did as being the first Klingon in Starfleet. And Cisco is going to make sure Nog gets that chance. He's going to send the letter first thing in the morning. And it's like, give him that big hug. Big hug. No, whoa. Don't thank him yet. Nog has a lot of work ahead of him. Entrance exams, different tests. He's not going to regret this. Handshake. And meanwhile, that crystal is up to the chin. Is that Odo hasn't said a word to Kira in over an hour. And Odo has been going over a few things in his mind. Like Kira says, saying Kira says she waited so long to tell him how she feels. Is Odo just taking a look around that maybe things would have been different if she told him earlier. Well, Odo, why are you smiling, Odo? Odo finally figured out what's going on here. The whole situation hasn't seemed right since the beginning. There have been too many coincidences, too many unanswered questions. Is it some kind of conspiracy? You said the Marquis was standing here when he shot at you? How tall was he? Was the Marquis about Odo's height? No. Maybe shorter? Like, more or less. What does it matter? Well, it matters a whole lot. It matters because from this position, you're blocking those phaser hits. There's no way someone standing where Odo is could have hit those rocks without hitting her. Maybe he was standing somewhere else. Or maybe he's realizing this is not Kira and that he was lying to him. We make 2 times a day that she lied. You lied and said you were shot up out of the Maquis, and you lied when you said you loved me. Like, Odo wishes you did, but you don't. Remember, Major, I pride myself on my ability to observe human nature. And Odo has watched Kira for the past few years. And all that time, she never showed she had any kind of affection towards him. Like, oh, Kira likes Odo, thinks of him as a close friend, but love, nah, 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 nah. It's like, if she just, like, well, she was just telling him what he thought he wanted to hear. Now you're lying again. That's 3 times you're lying. The Kira that Odo knows has far too much regard for our friendship to lie, even for the best reasons. Good. So she can explain. You can start explaining by telling me who you are and what have you done with Kira. Otherwise, he's gonna start blasting. And here's the big revelation that it's a shapeshifter. So again, how and when did she get into the Alpha Quadrant? And again, I suspect this was through the Tulipberry Wines deal with. Odo is a very skillful investigator. And Odo has much to learn. If you want to share your wisdom, tell him where Kira is. This changeling was the fugitive that we were chasing. How did they get their hands on a Marquis ship? It's like very easily. Why replace Major Kira? Why go through all this? It's like she wanted to know why Odo chose to stay with the Solids instead of returning staying with his own people. And they thought it had something to do with Kira, and now they know for certain. And the whole plan was to make him think that Kira died. And that Odo will return, yeah. Make sure that Odo had nothing left, but Odo has things left. He has Quark. Like, you think Odo's gonna let Quark, slide? No changeling has ever harmed another. Yeah, again, it's funny that's being said here. And Odo's saying there's always the first time, and there will be the first time at the at the end of the season. Like Kira is 200 meters away. How? How and or so that raises the question: how and when? Like, how much time and distance has there been from when they split up? It's like Kira covered a lot of ground that quickly. And also a Dominion transporter beam. So there's a Dominion ship somewhere, but where? And Kira in the pod. What are you doing in the pod, Kira? Meanwhile, get back to the Macon. He'll explain everything, more or less. Meanwhile, back on the station, there's one thing Kira does not understand. If the founder was trying to test his allegiance to the solids, why would the changeling impersonate Kira? Because you happen to be with Odo in the runabout. That's the theory. That's the lie Odo was telling her. Cisco Bashir. Well, what made Odo realize the truth? Kira said something that he would never say. It was nothing important. It was something major. Like, Nog will not stand for it. No nephew of Quark is going to disgrace the family name by joining Starfleet. But Quark has no shame in it. But Quark's mind is made up, and Ram says like, Ram, stay out of it. Nog is his son. When it comes to the bar, Quark is in charge. When it comes to to Nog, Ram makes the decisions. And Nog, good luck, because Ram will be proud to have a son in Starfleet. They're both insane. It's a great way to end the episode with a handshake, like father like son. Yes, they are insane, and that closes out the episode. Obviously, the stuff with Nog is is the strength of the episode. Because your mileage with the stuff with Odo and not Kira can only carry so that can only carry so much, and it's kind of flat. Because when you realize from the get-go early on that yes, like if the phaser blaster was directly behind Kira, if someone was shooting at her, then they would have hit her. so the whole plot, where if you're paying attention to it, even if you don't know the outcome of the episode, you would realize something was not right from Jump Street. And not to mention that when it said, 200 meters away, it's like, you know how far 200 meters is? Like 200 meters is the equivalent of 656 feet. that's a hell of a distance. All right, we're talking like the equivalent of maybe in Philadelphia of like of quite a few city blocks. It was like it's like a tenth of a mile away. So again, that's I'm trying to think because I know what things that are close by here. That's going beyond from where I live to Rocco's up on the street. That's we're, like it's a hell of a distance. Granted, it's not far, but far enough to like to drag someone and stick them into a stasis pod. Anyway, anyway, there's enough there with Odo. You get enough there with the stuff with Odo's name being quite cute, and you see how manipulative that the head changeling is. And but again, the real highlight of the stuff is the stuff with Nog. Like, and this is in its own way because there are going to be a few episodes where Nog is. I know there's an episode where Nog is taking a test and Quark sabotages it, and Rom gets super pissed about it. Before Nog ends up going off to the academy, because it really isn't until what, the middle of season 4, I believe, like season 4, season 5, somewhere along the line, Nog really becomes like almost like appearing in damn near every single episode as a reoccurring character. Anyway, so with that said, we'll wrap this up here. Next week's episode will be just looking at this Destiny. I don't recognize. Just by the title of it, I don't recognize it. So might be one of those episodes that I don't particularly care for, or just out of sight, out of mind of being something particularly unmemorable for me. Anyway, we'll discuss that next week. Of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe if you want to hang out. Again, I'm live over on Twitch. I'll be live later tonight at the timing of this video being up on YouTube with Yakuza Like a Dragon. So tighten your friendship bracelet, stay safe, have a good one. We will see you next time.